what do I do? I'm on the network, but I don't know what to do next. So keep this in mind. Today, people are searching for you before they ever meet you, whether they're meeting you in person, 6 feet apart, or whether they're meeting you virtually. You are in a position to win or lose, depending on what they find on your LinkedIn profile and your activity there. So with more and more people engaging on the network right now, they could be recruiters if you're looking for a job, they could be media people, PR people, they're engaging more on LinkedIn. And so it gives you an opportunity to demonstrate that you're an industry expert, or to build your thought leadership by being a trusted voice in your industry. And my favorite one is it gives you the ability to have deeper engagement with your professional community and influence the behavior of others. Now, the reason I like that one about deeper engagement is because what I want you to remember, if nothing else, remember that being social is about getting engaged, okay? It's about building that know, like, and trust factor, what I call the KLT factor. If you are in a situation like this, you're being social, or situations, this is being social. This is being social. So being social online is similar to what you're doing offline, except now these days we're doing most of it virtually. This is Bob Berg. If you've ever read the Go-Giver series, he talks about all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to the people they know, like, and trust. So if you think about it, the people you do business with, your accountant or your insurance person, they are people that you know, like, and trust. And you hope that the people who are doing business with you know, like, and trust you. If you think about when you need, let's say, a new accountant or a new doctor, chances are the first thing you do is not pick up your phone, and I'm looking for mine, but I don't have it nearby. You don't ask Siri, or you don't go to Google and say, I need a new doctor in Denver or in Cherry Creek. Most likely what you will do is turn to someone you know, like, and trust. A friend, a colleague, a client, and say, who do you recommend? Or you could ask your existing doctor, who do you recommend? Because that's that first level of know, like, and trust. So keep that in mind. When you're doing social media, okay, it doesn't replace that handshake, but when you do it right, even in times of COVID, you will change that handshake to a hug. And these days it'll be a virtual hug, but it's your opportunity to develop relationships. I say this about marketing in general. It's about building and nurturing relationships. So LinkedIn in particular, if you have and this statistic comes from LinkedIn, so if you have a complete profile, you're 40 times more likely to receive opportunities through the network. Now, I call it, what I like to say is it's a robust and optimized profile, because some people think their profiles are complete. And you might find today, as we go through this program, that what you thought you had was not quite a complete, robust, and optimized profile. Now, to go through this, what we're going to do is we're playing a game show today, and this is going to reveal 7 mistakes. It's actually 8. There's a little bonus at the end that people commonly make on LinkedIn. The good news is, if you have made this mistake, you can fix it. It's easy to fix. And if you are just getting your profile up or you're updating your profile, you can avoid these mistakes. So this game is called Fact or Fiction. And I want you to be in front of your keyboard, because you're going to use the chat. And I'm going to put up a slide and I'm going to ask you, is it fact or fiction? So I want you to type your answer in the chat, and Christine will let me know how that's going, how many people are saying fact or fiction. So if you're ready to go, here's the first one. Fact or fiction? LinkedIn profiles with photos get 78 times more views. So type in the chat, fact or fiction. Fact, fact, fact. Okay, so a lot of you are saying fact. I forgot to tell you, there are some trick questions in here. So actually the answer to this one is fiction, but I'm going to tell you why. The mistake that people make is, one, they don't have a profile photo. If you think about it, you go to somebody's profile, what do you do if there's no photo? And I want you to type in the chat, okay, as much as possible. If there's no photo in somebody's profile, what's your first reaction? I kind of liken it to the dating world. Somebody, Lynn says, yeah. I say you swipe left, you skip. So what you want to make sure that you do is have a photo. This is a gentleman here in Colorado who gave me permission to use this slide. This was his LinkedIn profile. No photo, and actually he had no information there. Here's the correct answer. So yes, you do get more views when you have a photo on your profile, but it's not 78 times. It's 14 to 21 times more views. So keep that in mind. Fact or fiction, number 2, get ready by your keyboards. It only takes 100 milliseconds to form an impression of someone from just looking at a photo of their face. Fact or fiction?
It's probably true.
Fact, fact, fact. And I like what somebody said, that the chat box is moving quickly, but someone said you don't take them seriously if they don't have a professional photo. True, true, fact. So let's get the answer. It is fact. 80 to 90% of that first impression is based on 2 things. Are you trustworthy and are you competent? Keep that in mind. So somebody looks at your photo and 80 to 90% of that first impression when they look at your photo, just the photo of your face, is this person trustworthy and are they competent? So that brings us to this, fact or fiction? This is a real photo posted on someone's LinkedIn profile. Fact or fiction? Fact, fact.
Everybody's believing you.
What?
Everybody's believing you.
Everyone's believing me. Yes, so guess what? You are right. This is actually a photo on someone's LinkedIn profile. Now, what I want you to tell me though, and actually let's unmute, if you want to unmute yourself and shout out an answer, just to get you more involved so we're not all so quiet. What do you think this person does for a living?
An actor.
An actor. What else?
Screws people over.
Screws people over.
A shyster.
I would say he's a hacker.
A hacker. Yeah, well, keep going. I'll get 1 or 2 more.
Car dealer.
A car dealer. Don't say that. My brother's a car. Has his
It's just in the old
He
days.
doesn't look like that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what this person does. This person is a certified public accountant. So my theory on this,
Very, very scary.
very scary, yes. Well, somebody kind of alluded to this. My theory is maybe he wants you to think that he hides things on your taxes for you. So that's why he hides his face. That's only my theory about it. But that's not exactly the picture. And you can see, you know, some people said an actor or a hacker, but he is an accountant. So looking at these images now, these are all real LinkedIn profile images. So let's just do 1 or 2. How about the little boy up in the, it's my left-hand corner. I'm not sure if it's the same on your screen, but the little boy in the top left. What do you think that person does for a living? He laughs, according to Christine.
Yeah, go to the playground a lot.
He goes to the playground a lot.
He's a contractor.
What was that? I missed it. Daycare, somebody put in the chat.
Contractor.
This person, okay, this, if you can see my mouse, He's
They think they're on Facebook, not LinkedIn.
well, that's one of the things.
their
So
kid.
yes, that person is an optometrist, and he's not a pediatric optometrist, and the kid doesn't even have eyeglasses on. So why do you use that photo? Okay. And by the way, just a little caveat, I don't use these photos, to make fun of these people. I use them so you can see these are real photos, and these are the kinds of things you do not want to do with your photo. You want a professional photo. It doesn't have to be a professional photographer who takes it, but you can, everyone has phones. Put on something nice, stand in front of a nice background. Do not put the phone down below you and shoot up your nose. Ask someone to take a picture of you and crop it so it looks nice. Don't, when I say crop, it makes me think of one of my clients. We were working on his LinkedIn profile, and I said, you need a better photo. And what did he do? He took a photo on his wedding day, him and his bride, and he cropped her out. And that was his photo. It was in this tuxedo, and you could see her hand, cropped out. So no, please use something that's professional, that conveys a nice image of who you are, so that people look at it and say, this person is trustworthy, this person is confident. So real quickly, just to see what everyone thinks. How about the woman in the upper right? What do you think she does for a living? You can type in the chat, or you can just call it out.
I think she looks scared.
She looks scared. Not a good thing to put on your LinkedIn profile. A serial killer. Shannon, I think you're the one with a sense of humor here.
It looks like she just crawled out of bed.
It looks like she crawled out of bed. Yes. And my theory on this one, she's a screenwriter and a playwright. And I think perhaps she had been up all night writing and took a photo. So this is not the image you want to portray on LinkedIn. Fact or fiction? Get by your keyboards. Fact or fiction number 4. The use of keyword phrases is only important on your website, not on a LinkedIn profile. Fact or fiction? And we'll go back to using the chat for right now.
Yeah,
If
it
you
looks
are
like fiction.
unmuted, please. Fiction. We have one fact. Fiction. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly ask, because I'm hearing some background noise, if you are unmuted, to mute yourself, with the exception of Christine. So yes, it is fiction. Okay. So one of the mistakes people make is they don't optimize their LinkedIn profile for keyword phrases. LinkedIn, like Google, it's a search engine. People will go into LinkedIn and they will search based on a keyword phrase if they don't know your name. So this example, I have whited out the person's name and their company. You don't want to use something like owner of the ABC company or founder of the ABC company. Those are keywords that are important, maybe if you're looking for angel investors or for venture capital, but rarely will somebody search for owner if they're looking for, let's say, an architectural project manager. There's a keyword phrase for you. So I want you to think about, if someone is searching on LinkedIn and they don't know you, and they don't know your company name, what keyword phrase would they be searching to find somebody like you? Fact or fiction? Ready? Because you have a job description under your current work experience, you don't need to worry about what's known as the about section, which for many years was called the summary section. So fact or fiction? Because you have a job description, you don't need to worry about the about section. Fiction. Okay, let's see what the answer is. It is fiction. So what you see on the screen is someone's job description, okay, under their experience section. But the mistake that people make is they don't complete the about section. So this is Angela. She's a colleague of mine, a fellow speaker. And there's a couple of things I want to point out. This is when I first worked with her, which is when LinkedIn had their old format. And she did not have an about section. You can't see anything there that says anything about her. There's a couple of other things I want to point out here. Behind her profile photo, which is the circle in the middle, is what we call the constellation image, that blue background. That's valuable real estate. So I want you to go into Canva, canva.com, and download an image that you're going to put in this real estate. But not just an image. You're going to overlay text on it that says how people can reach you. Please mute yourself because we're hearing some background noise.
May all the Davis protect you.
Not sure who it is, but somebody is talking. So if you could mute yourself, that'd be great. So Angela now has a background image that has her website, her email, her phone number. So it's not clickable, it's not linkable, but now people can find her easily without even having to search anywhere else on her profile. The other thing on this slide that I want you to take note of is Angela's name field. Before we worked together, it said Angela Gaffney, keynote speaker, corporate wellness. Your name field should just have your name. The only other thing in your name field might be a degree like a PhD or a Master of Arts, or if you, in the speaking world, there's something called a CSP. So keep your name your name. Keyword phrases like she has, keynote speaker on corporate wellness, go in your professional headline. Now, on this screen, her professional headline said, the Daily Essentials Cookbook Collection Breakfast. Not very keyword enhanced for her because she's a speaker. Now, if she wanted to be found for her cookbook, maybe that would work. So there's a couple of things on this slide that I want you to see, but right now let's go back to the About section. So Angela, before we worked together, did not have an About section. Afterwards, there's two slides here I want you to see. You can see she has the background cover photo that has her website, her email, and her phone number. Much easier for people to find her than having to click on the contact info button. You can see her name field just has her name, but you'll also notice her professional headline doesn't just say keynote speaker anymore, because if you search keynote speaker, there'd be a lot of results. So we focused on her niche, which is wellness. So she's a wellness keynote speaker, and she's a consultant, and she specializes in nutrition, stress management, and work-life balance. That's your professional headline. That's one place to put keyword phrases. There's 6 places to put keyword phrases. The other one is now she has an About section. And you'll notice what I want you to keep in mind about the About section is it's a little bit about you, but then how you help people. I want you to write it in the first person and share, again, how you help people. So Angela, you'll see, and this is another place to put keyword phrases. So Angela's a wellness expert, but then you'll see she says, I help busy professionals achieve health while excelling in their careers. Then she shares a little bit about her background. She survived a health crisis that nearly took her life, but then she shares how she helps other people. She empowers them with wellness strategies. Wellness, again, is a keyword for her. She empowers them to achieve health, manage their stress, and create balance in life. Keyword phrases all throughout there. And then she goes on to talk about, regardless of where you are in your health journey, she wants to inspire you to take action and make positive changes. So be sure when you do your About section that you do short paragraphs. Okay, you can see there's breaks between them. Please don't write one really long paragraph. You have actually LinkedIn, I think, just extended it to 2,600 characters, not words, but characters. So short paragraphs, bullet points, make it conversational. So not just bullet points, okay? Have an introductory sentence and then you could have bullet points. But remember keyword phrases. What would somebody search if they don't know you, they don't know your name, they don't know your company, okay? Health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, and I know that just because we have somebody who's from Aflac here. So think about keyword phrases, and the more specific you can be, the better. So that's Angela. Any questions up to this point? If you do, you can type them in the chat. Thank you, Christine. The website, if you want to create that background cover image, is Canva, canva.com. Christine has typed it in the chat box. And it allows you to upload your own image and then to overlay text. It even has a template for your LinkedIn background cover. So you don't have to worry, am I doing the right size? The one thing you need to keep in mind is you don't want it to, you don't want to have the text in a spot that then gets cut off by your profile photo, which is on the left. Let me go back here and just show you. So you can see Angela's profile photo, which is a circle, is on the left. And it kind of covers her. This is a picture of her speaking. So I think she's actually updated her image more recently, so it doesn't do that. So play with it and see what works for you. Right now, I'm not seeing any questions. So I'll keep going. So let's go on to the next fact or fiction. And that one is customizing your LinkedIn URL helps your profile show up higher in a browser's search results. Fact or fiction? True. Fact, fact, fact. Fiction, fact. Okay, well, let's see. What is the answer to this one? It is a fact, okay? So the mistake that people make is they don't customize their LinkedIn URL. When you sign up for an account, you'll see you get this URL that's linkedin.com/pub/your name and a bunch of numbers, okay? What you want to do is customize it so that it's linkedin.com/in/your name. The way you do that is you go in and you edit your public profile URL. When you put in your name, if you hit the save button and your name is already taken, LinkedIn will say, sorry, that's not available. What I encourage you to do if your name is not available, if you have a common name like John Doe, that you do John, your middle initial, Doe. So John L. Doe. If that is still taken, try J.L. Doe. So try to keep it close to your name because this is your personal profile. You don't want to do something really cute. No offense, Moose Man, but you don't want to use Moose Man for your LinkedIn profile. Okay, you want to use your name. Okay.
Come on.
Well, you can, Matt, you can use Moose Man if you want, but chances are that if someone was to search for you on a Google or a Bing and they used your name, then you probably wouldn't show up. LinkedIn says if you have that customized URL with your name, you're likely to show up higher in a browser search results. Okay. Plus, it makes it easier for you to share in your email signature, or if you want to put it on a business card, you don't have to have all those long, lengthy numbers. Or if someone says to you, can I find you on LinkedIn? You can say, yes, I'm Matt Famuso. Hope I'm pronouncing this. Famuso. I'm Matt Famuso. Just look me up on LinkedIn and you'll find me. So here's the summary of the first 4 mistakes. We have some more to go. So not having a photo on your LinkedIn profile and having it be a professional looking photo. Not optimizing your profile for keyword phrases. So think about what would somebody search if they don't know you, and they don't know your name, or they don't know your company. So for example, Aflac is pretty popular. Somebody might go on and search Aflac insurance agent, but how will they find you? Because there's probably numerous Aflac insurance agents. Okay. Mistake number 3 is not completing your summary or your about section. And a lot of people don't do that because they don't want to take the time. So here's a tip. Write your whole LinkedIn profile in a Word document. Okay. That way you can tweak it, you can copy and paste things, delete things till you get it to the point where you like it. Then save it so that you have it saved somewhere, and then you can copy and paste it into your LinkedIn profile. Always a good idea to do that first in Word and then transfer it to your LinkedIn profile. You can always go make changes later to your LinkedIn profile, but it's nice to have that Word file. And then mistake number 4 is not customizing your LinkedIn URL. So let's go on to the next one. Fact or fiction? All you have to do is create a LinkedIn profile and people will interact with you. Fact or fiction? We've got fiction, 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 fiction. Let's see. Correct. So early on, what I said is one of the important things about being social is about getting involved. Okay? It doesn't serve you to put up a LinkedIn profile and then not do anything. The only way it might serve you is if someone is searching and you do have a complete profile, they might find you, but they're more likely to find you the more that you get engaged. Remember, LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to build deeper engagement with your professional community. So that means, I bet many of you may be on Facebook, you like something, you comment on something, you share something. Now you can post your own short post, or you can post a long blog. So LinkedIn has what they call articles. That's like publishing a blog, but it stays on your LinkedIn profile. So those are some of the ways that you can interact. Plus, for those of you who are trying to target someone in particular that you want to build and nurture a relationship with, if you like or comment or share what they're posting, they get notified that you're doing that and they see your name, so you stay top of mind. Right now, during this turbulent time that we're in, it's really important to stay visible, okay? To keep that top of mind awareness so that people remember who you are and how you help them. Okay, one of the presentations I do is called Marketing in Turbulent Times, because when you stay visible, when times are tough, when times are challenging, if you're present, and you can do this very cost effectively, LinkedIn is one way to do it. But when times are tough, people remember you if you have stayed visible. When things get better again, they will remember who you are. Fact or fiction? So in front of your keyboards, listing skills that you want to be endorsed for is a waste of time on LinkedIn. Fact or fiction? Yeah, fiction, 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 fiction. Awesome. So it is fiction, okay? And what you're seeing on the screen is endorsements of skills, different than a recommendation. But one of the mistakes that people make is they don't list skills that they want to be endorsed for. So it's a good idea that you have at least 5 skills. You have up to 50 that LinkedIn lets you put up there, but put the top 5 that you really want to be endorsed for. And again, think about keyword phrases. This is a third place to put keyword phrases. So just to review, one place I said for keyword phrases is your professional headline. Another place is your about section. A third place is your skills section. So if you have at least 5 or more skills, then there's a 17% increase in your profile views. And you are contacted more often. Another benefit of having your skills listed is that it builds your social proof. It builds your credibility and your authority. When you go to someone's LinkedIn profile, you will only see the top 3. That's what you're seeing here. Now, when I say top 3, you can move whichever 3 you want to put in there. So go to your LinkedIn profile. Many people don't realize that they can add the skills that they want to have in there and that they can move those skills around. So even if you may not have 100 or more endorsements for those skills, but you want to be endorsed for it more often, put it to the top, okay? So let's move on. This one thing I want to show you, this is a recommendation, very different than skills. Okay, so when you list a skill, somebody can endorse you for that skill, but that's very different than a recommendation. If you want a recommendation on your LinkedIn profile, there's 2 ways you can get it. One is you've worked with somebody and they just had such a great experience, they automatically go to your LinkedIn profile and they add a recommendation on their own. But if they haven't, if you want a recommendation, you go to their LinkedIn profile. And there's a drop-down menu that says request a recommendation. One thing I recommend strongly when you request the recommendation is that you do not use LinkedIn's template. When you hit that request a recommendation button, it'll say, Angela, I'd like to get a recommendation from you. Please take the time to personalize it and say, Christine, it was so great presenting for your group today. Thank you for inviting me to, speak to the Chamber of Commerce about LinkedIn profiles. But I'm curious, I would love to have your feedback on that. Would you please take a moment and write a recommendation. All you have to do is click the button below, and LinkedIn puts a link in there, and someone can write a recommendation. So don't be afraid to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. And recommendations and endorsements, all these things help you build up your profile so that you can show up higher if somebody is searching for somebody like you. This is another recommendation from Carolyn, who attended one of my LinkedIn sessions. And again, I reached out and said, Carolyn, would you please give me some feedback? You have the opportunity when somebody does write a recommendation to approve it or to hide it. So don't worry that, oh my God, someone may not write something that I really want to put on my profile. If you don't like what they wrote, you can hide it. You can ask them to edit it. I don't strongly recommend that, just because I feel like if I've asked you for a recommendation and you took the time to do it, I don't want to go back to you and say, oh, would you change that, please? One thing that I did do, oh, thank you. Christine said, both Carolyn and Angela have spoken at your Business Success Series. Yes, they are awesome colleagues of mine. But one thing that you can do is, when I was talking about editing, I had a gentleman who actually was an editor, and it's probably the only time I asked somebody to edit their recommendation because he had typos in it. And I'm like, you're an editor. I don't know if you want me to post this with typos in it. And he fixed it. So most of the time people will write something really nice and you'll put it on your LinkedIn profile. Again, this helps you build your profile. It helps you build your credibility and your authority. Fact or fiction? And this is a big one. We might open this up for discussion. If someone you don't know sends you a connection request on LinkedIn, you should ignore their invitation. Fact or fiction? Fiction, fiction, fiction. So real quickly, I want to open this up for discussion before I give you the answer. If you want to unmute yourself, you can. How many of you have received connection requests from people you don't know on LinkedIn? Raising your hand. Yeah, quite a few. So raising your hand, most of us receive connection requests from people we don't know on LinkedIn. And the mistake that people make is they ignore the request. So here's what I want you to do. When you get a request from somebody you don't know, it might be a really good connection for you. This is, excuse me, this is my colleague Vivica. She may have spoken at Cherry Creek Chamber as well.
She has.
Vivica says, be sensible. So here's what I suggest you do. When you get that request, if you do not know the person, first go to their LinkedIn profile. Don't accept their invitation, don't ignore it, just go to their profile and look, check them out. Do your due diligence. See, do you have people in common? See what they do for a living. Is it something, and you don't always have to look at, is this going to be a good client? It might be a good referral resource. It could be a good partner. So check out their profile and see who they are. Then you can reply, but not accept. So when you're on your LinkedIn profile, there's a black navigation bar on the top that says Home and Network. And under Network, when you click on that, you'll see who has sent you an invitation. And then you'll see the screen that I'm showing you. Click on See All, okay? Don't click on Ignore, don't click on Accept. Go to See All, and then you can send that person a message. And here's the template I use. And this is one way to engage and to start that relationship and build the relationship is to reach out and start a conversation. So the template I use is, hi there, John. Thanks so much for sending your LinkedIn invitation, but I'm curious. Were you referred to me or were you simply searching LinkedIn? It helps me to know how people connect with me. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks a million. Here's to your sweet success, Deborah. And then I sit back and wait and see if they respond. Now you can imagine if they don't respond, then I don't accept their request, because what did I say early on? It's about engagement. It's about building and nurturing that relationship. So if you reach out to me saying, I want to connect with you, but then I send you a message and you don't respond, to me that says, what was the reason? Why did you send me a message saying you wanted to connect? Most of the time, people will respond, and some do say, oh, I heard you speak at the Chamber of Commerce. Oh, great. You know, I can't remember everybody's faces, especially virtually, because not everybody shows their faces on the screen. But that way I know what the connection is. Or somebody will say, no, Deborah, I really was just searching LinkedIn, you know, and then we have a conversation. Then I can decide, do I want to accept or do I want to ignore this invitation? So, fact or fiction, number 10. The biggest mistake professionals make on LinkedIn is treating it like a dating site. And I'm hearing a chuckle. Melissa says, LOL. Yes, fact, fiction. We've got a difference of opinion, fiction, fact. So, as I said, there are some trick questions in here. So this is a mistake some professionals make, okay? And the example I like to give, in all the years I've been on LinkedIn, only twice did I have something like this happen, and they were very similar. So I received the LinkedIn invitation and I sent that message off that I usually send, and both gentlemen responded with, I am a widower, I have 3 children, I'm looking for a wife and a mother for my kids. And my response was, this is not a dating site, delete. Okay, so it is a mistake that people make, but it's not the biggest mistake. So before I go on to what is the biggest mistake, I want to let you know that you can access a 10-point LinkedIn checklist. So this checklist is something that will help you when you're looking at your profile going, did I do this? Did I put in keywords? Yes. Did I fill out my about section? Yes. Did I do my cover photo? Do I have a professional photo? So if you go to rightdirection.com, that's W-R-I-T-E, and Christine, if you would maybe type that in the chat, it's rightdirection.com/LinkedIn the number 10 point checklist. And I'll show you this slide again before we end the program. So that brings us to what is the biggest mistake that people make on LinkedIn. And I'd love to get your feedback. If you want to unmute yourself, if you have an idea of what the biggest mistake is, feel free to either type it in the chat or share it. They don't use it. Yes, Kenan, that is a big mistake. And when you say they don't use it, a lot of people will put up what they think is a robust profile, but then they don't do anything with it. They don't get involved. Mistaken for social versus business. These are all great. Yeah, these are mistakes people make, but I'm going to share with you, don't use it for engagement. Yes, that's a good one. I'll have to save the chat here so I can remember these for the future. Selling immediately after connecting, and that one, sadly, who said that? Liz. Sadly, more and more people are starting to do that. I'm getting a lot of messages these days, and people are pitching before they've ever had a chance to build or nurture the relationship. So annoying, it's awful. Yes, it is. So here's what I say is the biggest mistake that people make on LinkedIn, and that's not personalizing your connection requests. So when you first get on LinkedIn, and as Liz mentioned, some people now are sending you a personalized request, but really what it is a pitch. So what I want you to do, when you want to connect with somebody, go to their profile first. Okay, don't click whenever you see this person knows or that person knows or these people have viewed your profile. Don't click connect from there because it will send out LinkedIn's generic message. You want to go to their profile and then hit connect, and you'll see this box. And this, by the way, is when you're on a computer. Hold on, if you're on an iPhone or any kind of mobile device, I'm going to share with you what you do then. It's slightly different. But on your computer, send a personalized note. So I want you to go to my LinkedIn profile when you're done today, click on connection request, and say, Deborah, I attended your presentation for the Cherry Creek Chamber of Commerce. Thanks so much. I'd like to stay in touch. This is not a long message, okay? It's short and sweet, just to let the person know, why are you reaching out? You know, do you have a common connection? And so you want to stay in touch. Are you in a common industry? So always personalize that request. Now, if you're on mobile, you do not click on the connect button, okay? You do go to their profile first, but don't click on connect. There's a button that says more, or sometimes it's just 3 dots. If you click on that, you will see on the other side of the screen here, the big green arrow, then you'll get a drop-down menu that says personalized invite. And that's where you can send a personalized message to someone. And again, short and sweet, why you're reaching out. So we have 7 common mistakes and the bonus, which is the biggest mistake. Again, include a photo on your profile. Keyword phrases. Think about, what would somebody search if they don't know you and they don't know your name? Complete your about section. Customize that LinkedIn URL. Get involved and engage. List specific skills you want to be endorsed for. Okay, so think about your skills and put those in your skills section. Don't ignore invitations to connect. Check the person out, do your due diligence, and then send them a message and start a conversation. And then personalize those LinkedIn connection requests. So here's some results real quickly of what people have done and how they've gotten LinkedIn to work for them. This was a marketing student who wrote 2 long-form articles. So on LinkedIn, you can create a long-form article. It looks like a blog, but it lives on your LinkedIn profile. She was an intern working for a hockey team. But as a result of those articles she wrote, she was contacted by several professionals in the sports industry. This is Nicole. For those of you who might be real estate agents, I actually sold real estate for many years when I lived in Hawaii. She used LinkedIn, and she had people reach out who wanted to buy in Manhattan. That's where she was based. She wanted to be on podcasts. Well, she had interview requests from LinkedIn to be on real estate podcasts. She had, again, someone who said, can you help me buy a brownstone? Can you help me buy an apartment? She got a preliminary informational interview because she wanted to join a board, and it was a local nonprofit. And so all this, by the way, doesn't happen overnight. It happens by doing everything that we've been talking about. And these specific results are an example of that. So this gentleman was on LinkedIn. He connected with a former colleague. Okay, that former colleague referred him to somebody. He said, oh my God, you're a financial advisor now? I know somebody in North Carolina who might be a great prospect for you. So the connection he made with his former colleague did not turn into a client, but he referred him to a potential client, and he got a $70 million account. This person connected with alumni. So you can go onto LinkedIn and find people who graduated the same university you did. But when this person did that, he got so many results, that he narrowed it down with a filter. And that filter was architecture, because that was an interest he had. Now, again, he did not get 33 clients overnight. He spent time building and nurturing the relationships and ended up with a bigger portfolio, $15 million, because of his interaction on LinkedIn. The last one I'll share with you is this person was sharing content, valuable content, how you help people. So it's not sharing a pitch, it's sharing 3 tips to save money during a crisis, or 5 ways to write a great headline for your next webpage. So tips, valuable information. This person was a contractor in Arizona, and by sharing information, his goal was to build his subcontractor database. And he was able to do that because he shared information, people were curious about it, and he built his database that way. I'm showing you this slide because it's about how to hack networking. And what David Burkus shares is that you don't need to go out and cold call. You don't need to go reach out and connect with people you don't know. It's about friends of friends of friends. So check out his TEDx talk. It's davidburkus.com/TEDx. And he also wrote a book called Friend of a Friend. If you think back to Bob Berg, who I mentioned earlier in the Go Giver series, he said we all have about 250 connections. So if you connect with me, it doesn't mean you automatically are connected to my 250, but now you're going to start to maybe see some posts. If you're interacting with me, you might see interactions from people I'm connected with who may be good connections for you. I'm quickly going to check the chat. So annoying. It's, okay, too many connections. You're allowed up to 30,000 connections. But here's the thing about that. Whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, if you had 30,000 connections, even if you have 5,000 connections, can you really build and nurture those relationships one-on-one? You'll probably find that there's just a select few that you're going to nurture. Now you can stay in touch with them if they're always viewing. Not every post that you put up shows to all those people, but take the time to nurture those relationships that have the most value for you. So what I want you to do before we end the program is I want you to either unmute yourself or write in the chat what's one change that you're going to make to your LinkedIn profile to maximize your experience. Okay, maybe it's, oh, I need to think about keywords. Or, gee, I don't really have a professional headline that says much on my LinkedIn profile. I just want you to think about one thing, keywords. Cecilia said she's not going to ignore her profile. Update your skills. Customize your URL. That's a really quick and easy one to do. Spend more time following. These are all great. Audit. How many get to see your posts? I don't really know the statistic on that one, Chris, because what happens is the more people engage with you, it's kind of like Facebook, the more they'll see what you post. So I don't know the percentages or the numbers of how many actually see your posts. Now, I will say this, people who are connected to you doesn't mean that you won't see other people's posts. And what I mean by that is you might be connected to me, but you're also connected to Christine. And then, wait, I'm not getting this right. You might be connected to me, but you're not connected to Christine. Yet you will start to see something posted by Christine and you're going, why? I'm not connected to Christine. Well, it might be because I liked it or I commented or I shared it and I am connected to you and I am connected to Christine. So you might see something from someone you're not connected to, but you're connected to that person mutually. Hopefully I explained that correctly. Sally, you're gonna upgrade your about section. That's awesome. So that's great. The one thing I want you to do though is whatever it is you just wrote down in the chat, I want you to take action while it's fresh in your mind. Okay, that's the best time to move forward, is while it's clear in your mind. And if you need some reminders, here's the checklist. Okay, this is something that you can then print out and go, did I do this? Did I do this? Did I follow this? It's really quick and simple, but it will remind you of all the things that we discussed today that you need to keep in mind for the future. And that's rightdirection.com, and it's right, W-R-I-T-E, rightdirection.com/LinkedIn-10-point-checklist. Okay, so rightdirection.com/LinkedIn-10-point-checklist. Now, what I want to make available to you, if you are interested, is I do one-on-one LinkedIn consultations. We sit down, we don't do it in person right now, we do it by Skype or by Zoom, and we focus on you and your profile. Okay, it's a 2-hour consultation. It's usually $400, but right now I'm taking $175 off that price if you get in touch with me before September 30th. Okay, and there's my email, Deborah@rightdirection.com. So this is if you really feel like you need some one-on-one attention, you need to focus on what are my keyword phrases, where do I put them? This is Keith, who spent 2 hours with me, and he said he learned more in those 2 hours than he was able to accomplish on his own in 6 months. So give it some thought. Not going to spend a lot of time pitching you on that. It's something, if you need help, feel free to reach out. Here again is the URL if you want the 10-point checklist, rightdirection.com LinkedIn-10-point-checklist. I'd love for you to connect with me on LinkedIn. Before we go, I want to give away a copy of my book. So my book is called Millionaire Marketing on a Shoestring Budget. This book does have a chapter on LinkedIn. It talks about copywriting. It talks about other cost-effective ways to stay visible and to keep top of mind awareness. So the way we're going to do this, if you want to win a copy of this book, I want to have you tell me in the chat, or you can raise your hand, and Christine, if you watch the screen and see who's the first person to raise their hand, I want you to tell me what's the biggest mistake someone makes on LinkedIn.
Why don't we have it, do it on chat, because I can't see everybody.
Okay, so in the chat box, the first person to answer, what's the biggest mistake people make on LinkedIn, you will win a copy of my book. No, some of you are typing what you think the biggest mistake is, but remember, I just shared with you what's the biggest mistake people make. So I don't want you to think about what you think is the biggest mistake. What's one thing we discussed today that is the biggest mistake I said that people make on LinkedIn? Not personalizing your invitation. There we go. So Sally, you are the winner of the book. Make sure that you get a hold of Christine, or Christine, send me her name and her address, and I will send her a copy of the book. So congratulations, Sally. You're welcome. My pleasure. So I would say type it in the chat box, but we want to keep your name and address private. And let me just check real quickly. Yay, Sally, says Lisa. Yes? Okay. I think that's it. If you want to reach out to me, I am on LinkedIn. Be sure if you reach out to me that you personalize your request. Again, it can just be, Deborah, I listened to you on the Cherry Creek Chamber program today, and I would be happy to stay in touch with you. Christine, you tell me how we are on time and whether or not we have time for questions.
Well, I had one question for you. The demographics versus other social media on LinkedIn are quite something. I mean, it's an older demographic a little bit, and it's a higher income demographic.
Yeah, so the last statistic I had on one of my slides in a different LinkedIn program, I think is that at one point the average income of the people who are members on LinkedIn was over 6 figures. Now I think they're saying it's 70 or 80,000 a year. 3/4 of the people who are on LinkedIn use it to network. There are Fortune 500, most Fortune 500 leaders are on the network. And yes, it's a business network. So the demographics are quite different. Most people are using it professionally for professional reasons. Every so often I get a message from somebody saying, oh, I saw this post, it looked like a Facebook post. It was a cat or a dog. But that's the purpose of LinkedIn, is for professionals to use it to share information, to connect with one another and build and nurture those relationships. So it's quite different than doing any other, I haven't gotten on TikTok. I don't think I will get on TikTok. I never did Snapchat. The one thing I tell people, and I share it in my book, is many people feel overwhelmed by social media. And so what I say is, don't try to do it all. I want you to think about, one, where's your network hanging out? Where's your audience hanging out? If they're on LinkedIn, then be on LinkedIn. If they are on Instagram, be on Instagram. But also make sure that it's something you enjoy doing, because if you don't enjoy it, then you're not going to use it. And I have a colleague who has a organic food company, and he said, I don't like being on social. So what's he doing? He's hiring someone to do it for him. But even when you hire someone to do it for you, you need to pay attention to what's happening on your account. So you don't ignore that. You've got to see what people are saying about you and whether they're sharing and commenting and engaging with your account. So hiring someone to do it for you is great. I manage social media for a client of mine on Kauai. I have to be on there daily. But every so often there's something that pops up and I reach out to my client and say, you need to see this and you need to direct me in how you want to respond. So it's not totally cutting all the ties. You still need to pay attention.
Well, that's super helpful.
Somebody has a, yeah, I'm sorry, Christine. I'm glad that helped. There is a question in here I'm seeing in the chat. Do you have a tip for connecting with an alumni you don't know, but you're interested in a connection with the person's organization? So Mary Kay, yeah, I would probably reach out to that person and say, I see we both went to University of Colorado Boulder, and I see that you're involved in whatever the organization is. And be honest and say, you know, this is something that has interested me. I don't know what you're interested in, if it's a business reason, or maybe you want to be on the board, but just be honest about it and see if they respond. The other way to go about it is to see if any mutual connection you have is connected to that person and ask them if they can introduce you. Thank you, Gerald. Gerald said great information to put in action. Thank you. Do we have any other questions, Christine? I'm not sure where we are on time, so just
yeah, I think it's about time to wrap it up here. But we want to thank you, Deborah. I think that was really valuable. It was great to see so many different people on our Business Success Series this morning. I think they know the value of LinkedIn and want to make sure they are doing it correctly. So I think you gave us some great tips. I know you're a member of the Boulder Chamber, my good friend John over there, but we're going to give you a free membership to our chamber. So hopefully we'll be opening up soon. You can come see us in the next year.
I hope so.
Yeah. Next month we have
that would be awesome.
In March, when this pandemic hit, we were supposed to have a woman named Lisa Foster. I think she lives in Boulder, Deborah.
I know Lisa, yes. Lisa's
and
also
she's going to be speaking about the Enneagram. So
she does a great presentation. So if you're listening, I think everyone should sign up for that. She does an awesome presentation.
I mean, especially during this pandemic, if you're living with somebody and you're like, oh my God, they're definitely from Mars. I don't understand where they're coming from. The Enneagram is so cool because as somebody said recently that they were a little bit disappointed. They're like, oh my God, like, really, humans are really we're just like in little boxes, but the Enneagram kind of helps you like identify how people are triggered. It's very interesting, very different than the DISC profile. So so we're going to do that on October 27th.
And she does she does. I mean, it's an awesome presentation. I'm not sure how she'll do it virtually, but I'm confident she'll figure out a way.
Yeah, she said she has been doing a lot virtually. So thank you so much again, Deborah. And everybody, good luck with your LinkedIn profile, getting that updated. I know we got some great takeaways. So have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's great to have you. And thanks for your great questions.
Thanks, Deborah. That was fabulous.
Make sure you get Sally's information so I can send her a book. Whoops, here's the book. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, you guys, I noticed too that there's more reactions than there used to be on Zoom. You only used to be able to clap and stuff. Now you can do some different emojis. So,
well, and you can even do this.
Reactions.
We can do this too. Wait, let's see if I can find it. Just real fun before we go. They have video filters. Let's see if I can find one like this.
I don't see a video filter.
You don't see the little smiley thing? Oh, you know why? Because I turned off my video. There we go.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Where do you get that?
So at the bottom, if you're on your computer, at the bottom of the screen where it says, you know, the video camera is, it says stop video.
Yeah.
If you click on it, there's a menu that says choose virtual background or choose video filter. So you click on the video filter, and then there's all kinds. Let's see if I can find another one. You can find one like that. So now I'm on TV.
Oh, neat. Okay. Yeah, you have to right click on it, it looks like.
I don't know. I was left clicking on it, but it probably works either way.
That's fun.
Oh, and Sally, you have a leaf growing out. Oh, now you have glasses on.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for that too.
Where is it again?
It's on the video. If you right click on the video
This is
where you
great.
stop or start the video, it says video, choose video filter or choose virtual background.
So video filter. That's fun. I like this one.
All right.
All right.
Okay, guys, have a good day. Thanks again. I'm closing us
Oh,
down.
Christina,
Thank you all.
Christine, you've got my address, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it started at 8:15. I'm sorry I missed what was the first 15 minutes networking?
No, it did. It started at 8:15.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I guess that was a few minutes, a couple minutes after. All right. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Christine,
Nice
thanks
to
for
see you
letting me.
all.
Thank
See
you,
you
Deborah.
Thursday.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.